In this short video, we'll seek to resolve ethical dilemmas using an ethical framework. An ethical dilemma is a situation a person faces which a decision must be made about appropriate behavior. Ethical codes are informative and helpful. However, the motivation to behave ethically must come from within oneself and not just from the fear of penalties violating professional codes. Who are supposed to follow these ethical dilemmas? Auditors, accountants, and other business people face many ethical dilemmas within their business careers. Sometimes what we like to do is rationalize unethical behavior. Why? Because we want to say that what we're doing is actually correct and acceptable. Why? Because as we indicated prior, we may gain an advantage from this unethical behavior. Some of the following reasons that people normally say that they follow the unethical behavior include: everyone does it. Sometimes even when we're talking to our parents at times, or whoever our caregiver is, and they're asking us why we did something, even though we know it's wrong, sometimes we say everyone does it. The same thing as accountants do today. If everyone is stealing money in the office, at times the rationale that other thieves give is that everyone else is doing it. If it's legal, it's ethical. That is also a reason. But sometimes we need to understand that maybe laws are not yet in place before we even have an ethical code. The likelihood of discovery and consequences. Often when you leave people alone without any cameras, without any security measures, the likelihood that unethical behavior happens increases. Security cameras and the like actually decrease the amount of theft and unethical behavior within a department. Here are some following steps based on resolving unethical behavior. Step 1. First, you have to determine the situation, and it involves determining the who, the what, the where, the when, and the how. Then you have to identify the ethical issue and the stakeholders. Stakeholders may include shareholders, creditors, management, employees, and the community. And with that, you have to try to identify all the facts by first communicating with those constituents. Then you want to identify the values related to the situation. For example, in some situations, confidentiality may be an important value that may conflict with the right to know. You also have to specify the alternative courses of action. Evaluate the courses of action specified in the prior steps of the consistency in the values identified in these steps. These steps may or may not lead to a suggested course of action. So just because you've determined who is affected by the outcome of the dilemma and identified alternatives available, that doesn't mean that you're going to have a specific conclusion. You also have to identify the consequences of each possible course of action. You have to assess the consequences of each course of action and of all the stakeholders involved. Finally, step 6, decide the appropriate action. Make your decision and take any indicated action based on your employee handbook or whatever guidelines that you're currently following.